2022 Specialized Tarmac S-Works SL7 in the Peter Sagan edition, number 69, weighing at 7.46 kilos and 16 pounds 7 ounces in a size 54. That's with everything included: pedals, cages, even our little flat toolkit. I'll show you guys a whole bike after we're done. Thank you guys. Hey, how's it going, everyone? GC Performance here, back with another video, and today I have for you guys a nice little collection here. This is the 2022 Specialized Tarmac S-Works SL7 in the Peter Sagan edition, and this is number 69 out of 119 made. Absolute beautiful frame. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to the gentleman who let me do the video on the bike. This is actually at I'll link their Instagram down below. Patrick's bike down at Pinnacle Cycling. The bike came out beautiful, amazing build, definitely a nice color. He said, quote unquote words, I said, how do you like the bike? He said, you're at a disadvantage if you're not on it. So take it from him. He's a trainer coach, so the bike came out gorgeous. So, and the weight that I showed before as well, in a size 54, that's pedals, power meter, 2 cages, Garmin mount, and also this massive, the SWAT kit as well, with a CO2 tire lever and an 80 mil tube wrapped all in there. So that weight's not that bad. You can still get this thing lower. I mean, he doesn't even have, we have Turbo Pro tires on there. We can probably put on, if you really want to, you can get some really light tires, like some cotton tires on there, which he had. You can run Tubolito tubes if you really want to as well. There are ways to make this thing lighter. So that weight that you guys saw is actually very competitive. Now, in terms of the Sagan paint job, this is one of mine, and I'll tell you why. This is one of my favorite paint jobs I did, because of the fact that it's almost subtle, you know? There's not as much Sagan branding, which I love the guy to death. I mean, Sagan's a beast, but it's just the perfect amount of paint. The paint by itself, the color of it alone is just beautiful. It catches your eye. It's unique. It's a nice color. It looks great. The black on the front looks amazing. But they just have these little subtle hints of what is. You know, you got the Sagan edition right there. You have the LTD number right there as well to let you know that it is a limited edition. And then they have a little quote on the bottom of the bike. Just says on here, "You never fail until you stop trying." And that's pretty much it. Whereas before, on all the other Sagan bikes, it was always a bunch of different, if I don't have yellow, I have green. If I don't have green, I have world, how many tours you won, you know, just a lot of this on there. This is much more classic looking. So the bike looks amazing in that color. I definitely am a big fan of it. Another thing I wish they did, which I'm sure everyone who bought this bike, the same thing, red seat posts. I don't know why, if they only made 120 units of these things, why couldn't you just paint the thing in red and just make it look like the team bike? I mean, it is $7K for this frame set alone. I know you do get a signed picture of Peter Sagan, but just include the red seat post. I've seen some people paint this already by themselves, but just paint it. Anyways, that's enough ranting for me. This is the build with the new Dura on there. This is the new 9200 Dura. The only thing that's old on there is going to be the Specialized Dura power meter crank. This is a 5339. That's the reason why I wanted it. It was just for the chain rings. But in terms of that, chain is 12 speed, cassette's 12 speed. Everything on this bike is 12 speed. So if you guys are looking for a Tarmac build, this is around that same price. The only thing that's different than OEM as well is the bottom bracket, which is a Originate OEM bottom bracket. So it's not the stock Dura one. But I'll get into the whole video and show you guys everything. So give me 1 second. Okay, so starting off with the cockpit situation on here, we have the new Specialized Revolve Rapide handlebars in a size 42. They have the little cover flaps for the cables on here, and with this being the new Dura Di2, there are no more Di2 wires running to the battery anymore. It is just 2 hydraulic lines, one for the rear brake, one for the front brake. The lines go through here, underneath the stem, and then down into the head tube where they ran to the respectable places. He does have here a bond trigger tape. That's a no-no. I mean, it's not bad tape, nothing against it. You just don't do it with that. It's like putting like BMW wheels on like a Mercedes. You just don't do it. But not my choice. He put it on himself. Maybe he just likes the white to match the tape. It looks good, but we'll see what happens there. We do have the out front mount as well that is made with a stem specifically. It's fit for a Garmin on here. And then we have the S-Works stem, which are titanium bolts. This stem is a 120 millimeter stem, and it is cut down on these spacers right here as well. You can see we have a 20-degree stem spacer stack, so he's just running one spacer underneath there. You always need to run this spacer on here, so even if you cut this flush, that spacer right there is still going to be on there no matter what, because that houses the cables going under there, as you can see. But looks mean. 120 on there. It looks really, really well. You can see the new sleeker design of the Dura hoods. A little bit more ergonomic, a little bit more inwards. Not as aggressive as the printing right here as well. They have a little bit bigger paddles as well for better shifting, and then the flushness of the shifter to hood as well. This is a gauge to gauge whether or not your batteries are charged in your shifters, which I've done a video on to show you how to replace these batteries down the road whenever they do go bad, because it's just a little 1632 battery in there. But yes, the front is a good looking bike. I mean, I love the black subtleness with the white in there. It makes the white Specialized logo stand out more. Definitely looks really good. You have this clear coat, or this clean, sparkly blue that goes all the way down. You have the Specialized logo right there. And then we have, the, like I said, the subtle Sagans to it. Just that little rocket red. It just looks nice, you know. You bought the bike because you're a fan of it. You like the color. You don't need all this blasting on there. My last favorite paint job by Sagans, I will say, was that diamond blue, that really diamond blue, and then also the mirror as well color. But I mean, this color is really nice. It's just subtle, which looks really cool. Wheels on here are just the Revolve Rapide CLX wheels. 51mm depth wheel in the front, 60mm depth in the rear. The front is wider than the rear wheel, so this is a 35mm external width tire rim, and then we have a 700 by 26C Specialized Turbo Pro tire in here. These are still not tubeless. They are not ceramic bearings. These are a Revolve branded hub with DT Swiss internals inside, so probably like a 240. And then you have bladed spokes on here as well. For the front brake rotor, it is a 160mm center lock Dura-Ace XTR front brake rotor on here. We have the new updated brake caliper as well by the Dura-Ace, which is, they say, 10% wider to make it a little bit easier to clear. So that way you're not getting any grime, grit, sand in there while riding on the road. So you have a little bit more opening for the brake surface. Beautiful white S-Works logo going all the way down to the bottom. These new SL7s, which I've talked about before in the past, they are a threaded bottom bracket as well, so keep that in mind. The cages he has on here are going to be the S-Works carbon fiber cages in the all black. We have the S-Works bolts here as well. All the nice little finishes to make sure that you know that you paid $7 grand on there. The S-Works bike models are a 12R carbon, so that's the difference between the S-Works and the regular. The Comp, the Expert, and the Pro are all 10R. This is a 12R carbon for the S-Works. Crank, like I mentioned before, is the older generation crank. This is the 11-speed Dura-Ace crank 9100. It's a 5339. I believe he told me that the group set he bought with the new Dura-Ace came with a 52. He just wanted a bigger chainring. He says he's waiting for a 54 on the front here, so we'll see what happens. But this is what used to come on these stock Specialized bikes, was this power meter right here and that power meter on the other side. He is running the 12-speed chain on the bike instead of the 11-speed, so you have the 12-speed chain. We have the upgraded Dura-Ace front derailleur, the 12-speed, much more minimalistic, much more smaller, and it shifts very fast. It shifts very quick from top chainring to bottom. It is noticeable. If you ran the 11-speed and you went to the 12-speed, it is noticeably different for how quick it shifts. So kudos to Shimano for making those upgrades to it. And the rear cassette, I believe it is a 1130, I want to say, or 28. I didn't check it. I'm sorry. I should have checked it, but I think it's 1128. And then them doing what they did for their upgrade to a 12-speed, they just added a 16-tooth in the cog, 16-tooth cog in the middle of the cassette instead of going with SRAM's 10-speed down there. And then we have on here the Dura-Ace 12-speed rear derailleur, the rear mech, and this is the new updated ceramic speed 9200 pulley. A lot of people were just running the 9100 pulleys before on these, but this is the updated 9200 pulley that works with the Dura-Ace 12-speed. The wire's tucked down here, and with this new Shimano group set, like everyone knows, there are only 2 wires now for the Di2 running to it. You have 1 wire running to the battery in here. You have 1 wire from the front rail running to the battery there, and that is all. Everything is controlled by this unit in the back right here. This is where you charge it. This is where you pair it. This is where you do all your function buttons. This is where you do your little trimming if you need to. Everything is done to the back of the bike. Similar connection to the old school power meter. You got this little charging port right there. Your charger there. You got your little function buttons here. It goes green, yellow, blue, whatever you want to do. This nice little housing for the new Di2 wires as well. Di2 wires are different as well. They are not the older style. They're a little bit more skinnier, but the new group set is phenomenal. You can't knock it at all. Shimano just takes what was a winning, successful formula and they make it much nicer. They listen to the people. Wheel in the rear is going to be the Revolve CLX Rapide, like I mentioned. It's a 60mm in the back, and we have on there the same tire, the Specialized Turbo Pro. It is not an S-Works tire, Specialized Turbo Pro. 700 by 26C tire. And then for the rotor in the rear, we went with a 140 rotor. This is the Shimano XTR Dura-Ace new updated rotors with a new flat mount disc brake caliper as well. If you guys ever wondered, if you're running 140 rotors, you don't need the adapter mounts. So just keep that in mind. You can see as well, we have here the power meter pod for the non-drive side. We have our covering port for dirt if in case we're running a front derailleur. And pedals on here are a Dura pedal. Specialized S-Works power saddle is what he's running on here. Carbon rails, carbon saddle, very lightweight seat, $300 for this thing. And then we added on here, like I said, the SWAT storage add-on. This is pretty much a total flat tire repair kit. You have a tire lever integrated in here. You have a CO2 with the little engager for the nipple thing. You have a tube with an 80 mil valve in there as well. And it all just comes down right there. Really easy to use. So this is pretty heavy. If you want to lose some weight off the bike, you can pretty much just take this whole thing off, put it into his jersey pocket, and then flex on all his buddies if he wanted to. And then the new seat posts for the Tarmac SL7s, they come without the junction box because they figured you're buying a bike that's $7 grand. You're probably going to have either something completely wireless, so you don't need that junction box on there anymore for the seat post. So these seat posts are a little bit lighter as well. And then you have the integrated seat post wedge on here as well. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Would you guys rather have number 1 out of 119 or number 69 out of 119? 69 is pretty nice, you know? It's pretty nice. That's a pretty cool number to flex around on. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and thank you again to Pinnacle Racing for allowing me to do a video on this bike. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, we got here the Revolve CLX Rapide wheels. Free body sound test on the new Dura 9200 with the OSPW. Here we go. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.